Hello, my friends, and welcome to another devotional connection. I want to share something with you that's so prevalent throughout the Bible, and I'm going to try to be as brief as I can with it um, and not go on for too long. There is a constant theme in the Bible about Jesus and his interpersonal relationships that he wants with us. It started in the garden with him walking in the garden in the cool of the day, meeting with his children. And it has continued all throughout the Bible. He allows us to have a very up close and personal relationship with him. If you go to some of the great stories of the Bible, we can start in Genesis chapter 32, if you will. And it's one of the famous stories, which is why I want to start with it, where Jacob wrestles with God. Besides what Jacob did to Esau, besides stealing the blessing that God was going to give him for free, besides betraying his brother and his family and then running away, he encounters God on the road and thinking that he's being set upon, wrestles with God all night. Now, not knowing who it is and wrestling with him, then realizing who it is and keeping wrestling with him. There's so much to this story. God could have ended Jacob at any time. I hope we understand that. But he chooses to wrestle with him. God didn't need to leave because the daylight was breaking. God invented the light. The light doesn't scare him. But he chooses that to end the wrestling match. He touches Jacob's hips, dislocating it, and Jacob, even in pain, wouldn't let him go until God blessed him. And God delivers the blessing. Now, as an adult, I have to understand that that's probably what God came to do in the first place. But he needed Jacob to settle some things in his heart. He needed Jacob to work through some things. And the wrestling match that they had was a great way to get this all out. And they go for it, and God allows it. Just think about that. God allowed himself to be caught in a time and a place in a situation where he is wrestling with one of his own creations. And not just a little one. They went at it all night long. Moses, one of my favorite stories, just a few chapters later in Exodus, God decides to meet Moses at a burning bush, and Moses argues with God as to why he shouldn't go. There is a 5-point argument Moses gives. Who am I? Well, who are you? They won't believe me. I can't do this. I'm not good at this. And then finally, he just says, can you just please send somebody else? And God goes back and forth with Moses. I mean, is he not God? Did he not say, let there be light, and light came? But he chooses to have this kind of a relationship where he goes back and forth with his creation. Later on in the chapter, that was in Exodus 3. In Exodus 32, Moses is with the Hebrews, and they have this incident with the golden calf, and God gets so upset that they are daring to disrespect him at the bottom of the mountain that he is on, and he tells Moses, I'm going to wipe them out and start over with your family. And Moses dares to tell God no. And they go back and forth. And God, testing Moses, I believe, but God relents and says, fine, but I'm going to punish them. God was right in his anger, but he knew that he is a forgiving, kind, and merciful God. You have Jonah. Jonah finds out how kind and merciful that God is, and is literally arguing with God about why he won't destroy these people, about why he won't rain down hellfire upon them. Later on, after the golden calf incident, God tells Moses, move the people, let's go. And Moses said, you haven't told us who's going with us. And God says, I will send my angel before you. And Moses says, no, we won't go unless your presence comes with us. Wait a minute. I was always taught as a child by my parents, do what I tell you to do. But God allows his people to go back and forth with him. It's amazing to me, the interaction that he allows. Moving forward in the Bible story, you go all the way to John, and you have Doubting Thomas, who we love to blame him for his doubts. But one of the greatest blessings for us came because of his doubt. And in John, 20, verse 24 or so, John is sitting there in the room. And he says, unless I see the nail marks in his hands, unless I see or can put my hands in his side, I will not believe it's him. And a week later, back in the same room, so obviously there was something that drew him there, even though he had his doubts. The Bible is specific to say the doors were locked and Jesus came and stood among them. And he tells Thomas, looks right at Thomas, put your finger here, see my hands, reach out your hand and put it on my side. Stop doubting and believe. And when Thomas does this, he says, my Lord and my God. Jesus met Thomas in his doubt where he was and provided him what he needed. He wants this up close and personal, I can reach out and touch you relationship. He wants this back and forth, this understanding. He allows these things because he is an interpersonal God. And he says all throughout the Bible, I don't change. There are verse after verse where he tells us over and over again, I am God and I am not like a man. I don't change. James 1:17, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, with whom there is no change or shifting shadow. Hebrews 13:8, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Numbers 23:19, God is not a man that he should lie, or the son of a man that he should change his mind. Does he speak and not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? Psalm 102:27, but you remain the same and your years will never end. God doesn't change. So the same relationship that he had with others, the same one he'll have with you. The same thing he wanted with everybody else is the same thing he wants with you. The same relationship he had with Enoch, Elijah, and Moses. I choose them because all three of them are in heaven right now, is the same relationship that he wants with you. The question isn't him. The question is us. Do we want that kind of relationship with God? And that's what we need to decide. Do we want to have God as our best friend too? Because there are things that come with it that we have to make sure we are ready for. Talk to you again soon.